year. We just had coaches that went to Summit get on and share their biggest takeaway, and it was pretty powerful. It was my favorite call last year, so I'm excited to do this again. There's a lot of us, so let's try to keep it to 30 seconds if we can. And if we have time at the end and you want to like add on to your 30 seconds, we'll do that. But let's try to give them a chance to share as well. So I'm going to try to make this, we'll try to go through the chat. So I won't take up too much time in between. So whoever wants to go first, just shoot your name on the chat. And then whoever wants to go next, you can shoot your name on the chat and we'll kind of go like that.
Pat, you're going to start with people that it's their first time going to Summit?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. We can start if it's your first time. Okay, so we got Jacob. So Jacob, go ahead.
All right, so I will say that my first Summit was the best experience I've ever had, and my biggest thing was, and I know Amy knows this, she always tells me, is I'm never consistent with anything that I do, like invites or anything, so she's always telling me that. But from day one that we set in the finish line leadership to the last day, it felt like every speaker that got on stage said the word consistency. It was like key, and it was like they were talking to me, kicking me in the face, saying, "Hey, you need to go do it." So that's my biggest, problem is not being consistent, and there's no more non-consistent, over for me. So I'm done. So I'm gonna do it now. So I got that.
Awesome. That honestly was the biggest thing I struggled with. That was like the one thing I struggled with. I mean, there was a lot of things, obviously, but that was the one thing that once I finally, and it took me 4 events. I think I went to 4 events. And after every event, I said, this is the time I'm going to be consistent. This event is the one. I think it was the 4th or 5th one that I said, all right, no, really, no more BS. And this is the one I'm going to be consistent with. I'm done. I'm done with this. So hopefully this is the one for you too.
Yeah, my first one, my last one. So there we go.
Awesome. All right, Tangela.
Okay, so my biggest takeaway was that this is a real business. And that sounds kind of basic, but about April, I was doing really good in February and March, and I was like kicking ass. And then about April, I'm kind of like, yeah. And I didn't do anything. And Summit really showed me that this is a real business, and that if I treat it like a real business, I'll have success. So there we are. Going to be #consistent.
2 points for consistency so far. That's funny. All right, who's next? Tangela and then Francesca.
Okay, so my biggest takeaway, I posted it in the group earlier, but I felt like before Summit, I was really struggling with how I was going to make like my professional career, which was social work, and I literally just finished my master's, haven't even gotten my diploma yet, and was just worried about like, how am I going to make both things work? And kind of going off of what Tangela said is it just sunk in that this is a real job. This is a real career. And I can make both things work, and I can use my skills that I've learned through grad school and use it towards Beachbody. That was the biggest thing. And then second, right up with that was what Carl said about being curious and being ambitious, and just like setting my bar super high and just going for something that I might think is super crazy, but going for it anyways. So yeah, those are my 2 biggest takeaways.
Awesome. Susie.
You'll need more than 30
just cut me
seconds.
off. 30 seconds is hard for me. I could talk all day, but
That's 5 seconds.
I would say that my biggest takeaway, and me and Amy probably said it to each other 500 times over the weekend, was just that I never considered this to be my plan A. I always believed in it. I knew what I had to do. but I kind of was treating it like it was a hobby. I wasn't seeing it as what I was going to do with the rest of my life as a job. So I think that it just showed me that this can be plan A, and there's there's so many people that are so successful and they really make the business what they want it to be. And I love that. And I just feel like I gained a lot of respect for the company as a whole. I just agree with the way that it's run and what they stand for. And plan A.
Hashtag plan A. I like it. All right, Ashley Feldinson.
Dyson. Okay.
Dyson. Okay.
My biggest takeaway, two things really quick. The first thing, really seeing like all the leaders up there really inspired me to realize, I've always taken this very seriously, and I've always looked at it like I could maybe make it a career, but I never really sat down and put my hard work into it. And it really helped me realize, the journey is the most important part to the top. And it's really crucial to pay attention to like what it's going to take to get you there. Second thing, when I got there, I got my success starter little tag on my name tag. And I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, this business really cares about like who we are as people. And I thought that was really awesome because the business is like really true to their, their, whatever you want to call it, customers, their employees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are. Seriously. And it starts like at the top. Like Carl's one of the most honest people I know. And he puts people first, like he treats, and he talked about it on the call, and that kind of trickles down through the whole company, all the way to the coaches too. Cool. How about Bridget?
Okay. I have a couple of things. My number one thing is that I'm not alone. I went into this thinking that all of my fears and doubts and reservations were abnormal, that they weren't shared by everyone else, but they are. And that made me feel valued. Like I wasn't just out there all on my own, just hanging by a cliff. And the second thing was this huge family. I've never had a cheerleader. I've never had someone backing me. And to have a huge team like this behind me, pushing me, being my advocate and being each other's advocate was a big deal, because family relationship, that's all you have at the end of the day. And to me, that's the biggest thing that I took away from this, is that there's a group of people out there that's not just people we connect with on Facebook or that share the same group we have, that really are family, and they care about each other, and they push each other, and they have a zeal about each other. That's what I took away from this. So, yeah.
Team Boom family.
Yeah.
That was something we really wanted to do, was to make it more like a family than a team, like a family where you do feel supported and loved, and you see other people kind of doing the same things you're doing, but they're just normal people. We're not like superstars. And I think that's sometimes easy to look at people that are having success, and it creates this gap. But when you get to these events, you get to meet us, kind of like you got to meet me, and you realize I'm just a goofball. Like you could do what I'm doing times 10, right? So, and you got the family to support you the whole way through it, which is really cool. How about Chelsea? Chelsea Data.
Okay, so I did a lot of self-reflection and business reflection. And one of the things I kind of came away with is that I really have to step it up a notch and be a leader, and kind of like, I think it was Carl, I don't know, that was talking about act like you're the CEO of your own business. And even though I have a really small team right now, I need to act like I have a huge team and lead them. So that was a big takeaway. And I also realized that, or it was reinforced to me, that people have it a lot harder than me. And I just need to get over my excuses and stop feeling sorry for myself. So.
Love it. How about Kim Opperle?
All right, I'm out of breath. I just ran upstairs because my baby was crying. But anyways, I absolutely love everybody here, and it was like the best experience ever. And biggest takeaway was that if a lot of those top coaches have started with the biggest struggles, and if I can start where I am, I've had my own kind of struggles, but they have done everything and anything, and they have no excuse, and I have no excuse not to be where I need to be. And I love the quote, your business is where it deserves to be. So whatever work you're putting into it, that's where you deserve to be. So a big thing obviously is consistency and just being more consistent. So
That was a great quote. I love that too, and it's so true. All right, how about Vanessa?
Hey, so this was my first summit. I've been a coach for a year, and I was stupid, and I put it on the back burner, knowing that I could have been successful. I could have been where I wanted to by summit, but I had these other ideas, and I made them plan A instead. So for me, it was kind of a game changer, making me kind of think about where I should be now, but I'm not because of the choices I made. So I had to commit to go all in and sacrifice things. Like right now, my daughter's mad at me because I'm not watching a movie with her anymore because I had to be on the team call. But I want to be where I want to be at by summit next year, and that means I have to make that commitment, and I have to be consistent. And as Pat told me at summit, everyone has 2 dates. You have a date you sign up, and then you have your start date. And my start date was summit this year.
You have the date you sign up, and then you have the date where you become consistent forever. And you have a lot of days where you say, this is the day that I'm going to start and be consistent. But then there's finally a day where you actually will be. And hopefully that is summit for you.
It is. I needed to hear it, and it came at the right time.
You talk to any top, I mean, there's a few exceptions to the rule, but most of the coaches you talk to, you say, hey, when did you become a coach? They all say, well, I became a coach. I signed up here, but I really went all in and became consistent here. And most of the coaches, the second thing they say after that is, I kick myself for not doing this sooner, for not going all in and being consistent sooner and having such a big gap between those 2 dates. And I'm at the top of that list for kicking myself really hard. All right, how about Skylar? Skylar on?
Sorry, I was eating.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I was eating. So my biggest takeaway, first off, this is my first summit, and mine really hit me the second that I left Indiana, because growing up, like, I never went anywhere. And so the fact that when I was growing up, I wanted to do something to do with travel. And so before I even got to summit, I was already super excited because I'm doing my business and I'm getting to travel for it. And then I hit there and I realized that everybody is positive. And I had just left my job the day before, where everybody's like, oh, I hate my job, this sucks, blah, blah, blah. Just everybody talking down to each other. And then I get to summit and everybody was so positive. You couldn't find anything negative about it. And so being surrounded by that type of people is just completely awesome, and doing something that I love. So it was just really the realization of that it's real. It's not an internet, even though it's an internet business, it's real. So that's cool.
Yep. There's not too many places. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw Tripp's video, but he hit the nail on the head. He said the odds of in your lifetime finding and being a part of something like this, a part of a group of really positive, supportive people, that's hitting the lottery. That's worth more than the money a lot of times. And when you get to be there and live in person, it really sinks in. Cool. How about Julie?
Hey guys, so this was my first summit, and first of all, I just wanted to thank the people that I met as soon as I walked through the door at the Omni Hotel. Were they made me feel so loved and so welcome from the moment I stepped through that door. They instantly felt like family, and it was just such an amazing feeling. And I feel really emotional right now coming back from Summit because like everybody just made me feel so good, so welcome. And I felt like I was surrounded by so many positive and such driven people. And it just gave me such belief that I can make this happen and that I can build the business of my dreams through Beachbody. It was awesome.
Awesome. Love it. Emily Bachlet.
So my favorite moment was the workout with Shanti Thursday afternoon with my brother-in-law Chris and my sister Claire. We had so much fun. Shanti is the man. So glad to meet him in person. And then my biggest takeaway was really through the workshops and just maybe being there with my sister who's on my team, really just like Chelsea said, the realization of it's time to step up and be a team leader. So those workshops were super helpful for me, and so glad to be back and really up in the game and signing coaches left and right.
It's awesome. It's cool, like having someone there. Like I remember being at some events like by myself, like my first summit, and being like, oh, like so-and-so would love this. Like, let me text them real quick about this. And I was kind of thinking that again today. I was like, oh, so-and-so would love this. And then instead of having to text them, I looked over and they were like sitting right next to me. I'm like, oh, they're in the room, like even better. And, you know, it was cool you had your sister there, but next year it's going to be even more so, which is even cooler. Cool. How about Mary Beth?
Hi. I'm like nervous and I don't know why, but anyways, I'm like sweating. I guess you guys say it over and over again, like personal development is so big, and I'm someone who lets anything bother me. And I felt so, like, I think I was sitting next to Annie when like Shalene was talking, and I know like her whole thing was like have more sex, but to me I was like crying because I let people get under my skin a lot. And, like, it wasn't just like her whole thing, but like just being around people who are like into the same things and like just picking up conversations about like building and just doing it. And like I had to talk with Carolyn about, you know, reading a book and like and just listening to it all. Like you just have to show up. Like I show up every morning and I work out, but at the end of the day, like I'll be like, oh, I'm so tired. I'll respond to them tomorrow. And like tomorrow comes and then I'm like, all right, I'll just do the ones that are really important and I'll do the other stuff later. So like consistency, showing up, and personal development. I'm the worst at it. So it kind of like lit that fire again, and that was good. And everyone on our team is amazing, by the way. Just look at the pictures.
I got some pictures from like 5 a.m. from the library that are cute.
Yeah. I mean, what team parties in a library? Woohoo!
Yeah.
Mary Beth, nice bar behind you.
All right, next I got Shaughnessy.
Okay, so I'm nervous too. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, so there's 3 things I took from Summit. Consistency, patience, and that there's a team. Because before I went into this, people kept saying that I wasn't real. And whenever I say I was on a team call, they're like, what are you talking about? Like, these people don't give a shit about you. They're just there. They're like collecting money. And I was just like, okay, well, that's not true. So I met everyone. And let me just say, I was so uncomfortable because I was like by myself and everyone knew each other, it felt like. But this team is amazing, 1. 2, Amy knows that I'm the most impatient person in the entire world. And I need things to be done and seen like now. And so seeing people and hearing their stories just made me realize that your business is what you make it. And I'm like kicking myself in the ass, although I've only been a coach for like 3 months. So Summit came like just in time, but I'm just dragging my feet and I do all of these things anyway. And I've never like worked for anything. So this is what I want. And, you know, going to Summit really, really made me realize that being consistent and following my dream because I want to, not because somebody else tells me what to do, is huge for me. So I wrote some things down, but and then Pat, like your post the other day about comparing myself to somebody when they've already created their journey as opposed to what they did to get them there is what I find myself doing. So and I cried too when Shalene was speaking. So Mary Beth, you're not alone. But yeah, Summit was amazing, and I'm so happy that I met everyone, and can't wait for the retreat. That's it.
Awesome. That was great. Anne Marie.
Hey guys. So I took a few things away. I think my biggest thing that I posted about today was after seeing Tara Carr. She talked all about sharing her mess, her story with everybody. So I've been doing, I've been a coach since April of last year, and I don't think once I really shared my story. I was always posting my workouts, what food I was eating, how great I felt. I was promoting everything, but I never really wrote why I was here and what's happened in my life to really spark me to want to do something like this. Like, my passion's always been being a teacher, and out of nowhere it was like, no, Beachbody's my focus now. So being able to take baby steps in that direction, I'm not really comfortable completely sharing everything I've been through, but just kind of taking it one day at a time and telling people a little more each, month, every year, and just kind of getting out of my comfort zone. And it was also awesome to have my coach Cami there with me, because she posted her journey for the first time ever yesterday, and I'm super proud of her and can't wait to follow that. So
yeah, it is. Like, it's exciting to go to Summit. It's even more exciting when you get to go with the team. All right, I have Allie.
Hey guys. So first of all, it was awesome meeting everybody in person. That was like the biggest thing for me, was just, kind of knowing that you have, kind of like Shawnee said, that you have a team behind, these calls and Facebook and everything. These are real people who are positive and like-minded like me. And it was just awesome to meet everybody in person. My biggest takeaway, I would say, kind of like Susie was saying about how, realizing that this can be a plan A. And I always had the belief in Beachbody and our team and the business, but I never really thought of it as a plan A, I guess. It was always kind of my plan B, because right now, I'm in nursing school. I have a lot of things going on. And I think kind of just realizing that I don't have to fit into the norm of going to school, being a nurse, this can be my plan A. And Summit really made me realize that it's going to be my plan A from now on. And it's going to give me the life and the freedom that I want. So it was great meeting you all. I had a blast. I can't wait for next year.
That's awesome. And I think Anne Marie was kind of, it's hinting towards plan A as well. I remember not allowing myself to think of this as a plan A, because I was a CPA. I had a career. I had a career path that was acceptable, and not just acceptable, people respected it. So how was I going to allow this Beachbody coaching thing to be plan A when I already had an amazing plan A? Until I surrounded myself that already had made this their plan A, and I was like, their plan A is a lot better than my plan A. And it slowly all of a sudden became my plan A. And then once it did become my plan A, that's when things just I went all in and became consistent, and things slowly grew. But I had to allow myself to make it my plan A, and that took time in my head.
Yeah, to me, there's a little difference in the belief and then having it as your plan A. So I think that was that mindset shift was the biggest thing for me. So.
Yeah, it's a very, very hard thing, especially when you love, what you do and you have a good career already. It makes it harder. But the more you surround yourself with other people that have already made it their plan A, the easier it is to make that shift, and to allow yourself to make that shift. So that was why I think it took me so many events to do that. But the events were what did it more than anything, I think, was getting around those people that had already made it plan A. Cool. How about Marie Conley? Is that how you pronounce it? I think it said Marie D. Conley.
Yeah. I honestly almost drove by Summit because I had been so nervous about being surrounded by so many people. But I was really glad I didn't skip it. And my coach actually talked my way into the size training Wednesday morning, which was absolutely the most amazing experience because I generally don't dance unless there's been a few drinks, and that was just so much fun. And I'm already going to Jen's trying to set up pre-classes and stuff, and I never would have thought about doing that when I signed up in November.
Just because you got surrounded, you like met someone that was excited about it, and you started to like allow yourself to get excited about it too.
Like it actually seems like something I can do for extra income to supplement my teaching income now, instead of just, oh, you know, I have a few friends I can sign up now. I'm actually like, yeah, I'm going to go teach size at the gym and start a club at school. It's kind of overwhelming to think of where I started and where I see myself going and hopefully being diamond by next summit. Nice.
I love that. I like that you said that it's kind of going to be like your, like to supplement the income you make now. It's like your plan B now. And like, honestly, like that for me, like I couldn't even make this my plan B for a while. Like I was like, I have a job. Like, why do I need like a plan B? Why do I need something else? Then that became my plan B. Like it became something that I actually thought, well, now this is actually something I really enjoy and I can do it part-time. I don't have to quit my job and I can make some supplemental income. And I allowed myself to make that plan B. And the more when it became plan B and it started really working, all of a sudden I was like, you know what? I actually really like this thing. And this could like surpass my plan A now. So you're kind of in that phase now where it's like, this is something you're going to supplement and kind of see where it goes from there. And I'm willing to bet this might become your plan A eventually down the road. Who knows?
Hopefully.
Cool. All right. How about Trip?
Okay. Well, like some of the coaches said, I think my biggest thing was the relationships because like they were saying, it's one thing to build these relationships on Facebook, but then to see these people face to face and actually get to know them and build the relationships was amazing because I wasn't always like that. When I started out as a coach, it was right after last year's retreat, and I saw everybody posting pictures, and I thought, you know, I'm never going to fit in with these people. They already know each other, and I kind of withdrew for a little bit. But once I got over myself, I did some of the things like you told us to do, and reached out and started doing the Zoom calls with some of these coaches, and I realized that this team is amazing because just like we tell everybody when they're interested in coaching that, you know, it's your own business, but you're not in it by yourself. For me, I couldn't imagine doing this without a team like this. I don't know how to explain it, but it was the relationships for me was my biggest takeaway. I was expecting great training, being Summit, the big annual event. That didn't let me down. It was amazing training. But to be a part of this team that is willing to, you know, push your business along when it doesn't even benefit them. They may not even be in my upline or downline. It doesn't matter. It's just being a part of this team is something that I think is a huge advantage for us that a lot of people in this business don't have. A lot of people don't have teams like this that'll share everything and build these kinds of relationships.
Boom. Team Boom family. And the relationships, and then also like I did hear a number of coaches say like coming out of some of the trainings that they were great, but they already knew the things they learned because Team Boom had already does those things, which is really cool to hear. I think a lot of the leaders on Team Boom, like we've made so many mistakes so that a lot of the newer coaches don't have to go through those mistakes, which is nice. But I have to agree, like the relationship part of it. I think that this is a very unique thing from talking with other coaches on other teams and talking to leaders on other teams. I get asked that all the time. Like, how do you guys have such a great team? Like, how do you get over 100 people on a team call? Like a lot of these leaders that have even bigger teams than Team Boom struggle to to get the type of numbers on a team call like this because their leaders butt heads and go separate ways and take their teams with them. And I think that it's a very unique thing that we're able to stay as tightly knit as we have been, as we've been growing as fast as we have been. And that's just like a testament, I think, to, a lot of the leaders on the team, the diamond coaches. I think that starts from my parents down. That's how they raised their kids, and that's how their kids treat their teams as a family, and never wanting anyone to feel left out, and everyone feeling like they believe in it. I'm getting like chills talking about it. This is weird. All right, we're going on. How about Caroline?
I have two biggest takeaways. My first one is, as Pat said, a lot of times in the training, I was like, oh, we're already taught this. Like, I was taking notes, don't get me wrong, but like I felt great that we already knew it. But something that Mindy Wender, is that her name? Mindy Wender said that really just like aha moment. She was like, in the past week, if you go through all your posts, would people know that you're looking for coaches? And I was like, nope. And I like already knew I wasn't even need to check. And I'm always so afraid to post that. And even when I talk to my challengers, like I have challengers that I know would be great coaches. And I like will say like, I'll ask them if they want to be coaches and they just want to do discount. And I never really like, not push it, but I never really be like, well, what? Like I don't, once I say discount, like then I just like let them be discount and don't go back to them. But I have people that I know would be great coaches. So I've been going back to discount coaches, and talking to them. And even one girl was like, oh my God, I'm so happy you said something from like 3 months ago. She's been a discount coach. She's like, I'm so happy you said something. I thought the opportunity passed. I was too afraid to say something. So now I'm going through every single discount coach I have, because I have a lot of them, to see. You never know. But that was really just an aha moment that I need to post about it more. And I really need to, I really, like Pat says, 5 best friends. I really spend a lot of time in my challenge groups. They participate a lot. And I just feel like I need to do that more. And then as the second biggest takeaway was the relationships. I've never felt like such a family as I do with Team Boom, and being part of Team Boom has made me connect with my like blood family even more. But it's just an amazing feeling to like go there and just feel so welcome by so many people that I had never even met before. So thank you all for that.
I can't believe this was your first summit.
I know. Get to the retreat, people. I'm telling you, whether you went to Summit or not, the retreat will change your life, hands down.
Boom. Awesome. How about Dara?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Still trying to figure out my Zoom on my phone. Okay, so I had a couple of things that were big takeaways for me. Obviously being consistent, because I know I will be consistent for a month and then I'll fall off, and having just being around everyone and really meeting all the leaders on our team was really huge for me. Also, one of the things that I really liked from one of the trainings was that everyone starts with just one challenger and that everyone matters. And I usually will just take one challenger and put them in the big challenge group. Well, this time I've decided that I'm going to run it and I'm going to work with them one-on-one, because that's how you become a leader, is really just working with the people and really making a difference in their life. And one of the other really big takeaways for me, and I know everyone says this all the time, is that realizing that the top coaches, there's nothing different between me and them. The only thing that's different is that they've been doing it longer and more consistently. So I really realized that there is no reason why I can't be there. And the last thing that I really was kind of my real aha moment, I actually got to the airport really early because everyone was freaking me out about lines. And I ended up running into a 3-star diamond coach who's from Arizona also, and she is a master trainer. And she was like, well, I'm going to be working right now. Why aren't you? And she kind of just kicked my ass into gear. And she really just gave me this no bull attitude. And she asked me the things that I was struggling with and just said, well, why aren't you doing that? And so she's like, you're going to do 5 of whatever, inviting people to coach right now. And she just kind of made me make lists. She gave me really good tips about apps to use. And it just kind of like made me realize there's no reason why I shouldn't be where she is right now. The only thing that's holding me back is myself. So that was amazing for me.
It's true. The biggest obstacle is ourselves.
So one of the things that's really nice is that it doesn't matter that I'm not even on her team. Like every coach was willing to help every other coach. It doesn't matter what team you're on. Everyone is willing to help everybody.
Yes. We're all on the same mission. That's great. Yeah, I think Michelle's going to need to do some more tough love with you now that she knows that that's like how you get motivated. How about Gisela?
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I wrote a bunch of stuff down, so if I get lost and start to ramble, sorry. I just wanted to start by saying this was my first trip ever, like, completely alone, so I was, like, scared out of my mind. And once I got on the plane and I was there, I was even more nervous. But then when I got to the room and I met my roommates, it was just, like, I felt comfortable right away. And we talked about, like, I met a bunch of people that all had the same fears that I did, so it kind of calmed me down then. And then also, I think my husband finally saw that I was, like, all in with this. And so he saw that I had a really positive experience, and I think he's going to go next year. My big takeaway was from the speech with the photographer, and I thought it was amazing. He said that if something isn't working for you, then you need to change. So I'm definitely changing the way I'm going with my challenge groups and approaching people. So hopefully that will change my whole game. Oh, and I also wanted to point out that Alyssa Sardelli is like the best coach ever. She was like up to date with us for everything. She checked on us all the time. So Alyssa, thank you so much. You're a rock star.
You're welcome.
And that's it. It was just great.
Perfect. Cool. I think I tried to see if anyone hadn't talked yet. I said, has anyone who went to Summit not shared yet?
Pat, Danielle Young's on the call, but she's on her phone. So Danielle, if you can hear me, unmute yourself and then unmute your phone and then you can talk.
I think I have to unmute them.
Oh,
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Hold on a second. I'm at work. Okay. My biggest takeaway was I was sitting in a session, I think it was on Friday, and someone said that they had a pretty needy coach that said to them all the time, oh, what do you want me to do? What should I do? And I have one like that. But I also feel like I have been kind of a needy coach looking to other people for direction. And she says, you are your own boss. I'm here to guide you, but this is yours. This is what you want to make of it. And it really clicked with me. And I remember calling my coach, RJ, on the way home from Nashville saying, oh my God, RJ, I'm so excited because this is my business. This is mine. I'm moving it forward. Everything that I'm going to be doing is up to me. So all the excuses of I don't know what to do are out the window, and I get to make it however I want. It was pretty empowering. So that was my takeaway.
Boom. Love it. All right, Nikki and James.
Hello, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Hashtag power couple.
Hi guys, this is Jason. My biggest takeaway was probably consistency as well. I really haven't worked the business much myself. Nikki's been working it a lot more than I have. But seeing and hearing all the top coaches, and that, I think word of consistency is really the biggest thing that I took away, trying to remember that all little things that we do each day will yield big results. So it really makes me want to work it every single day, bit by bit, as I definitely believe that there is a, pot at the end of the rainbow. So I just look forward to that. I love seeing how the company itself took care of its coaches, from the very small coaches or beginning coaches all the way up to the top coaches. I think it's definitely a rare thing to find a company that loves and supports the people that work hard for that company. It's coming from a big corporation that I work for. It's very, very rare to find something like that. And I think that is a special thing in its own. And I really love to be a part of Beachbody and Team Boom. So thank you for everybody, all the coaches, especially the Reelman family, all of them always putting everything out there, trying to help the littlest of coaches become big coaches. So I think that's special.
My 2 cents, my quick takeaways. I obviously really enjoyed meeting everybody in person, particularly some of the people that I've been able to make some relationships with in our training groups and such. So it was really cool to actually see and hug some of these people in real life who've been really, really kind and, speaking to me on various calls and stuff. So that's been really awesome. Like Jason said, the Reelman family, all of you, and the extension of you, your friends and people that you've known personally for a long time, and just that awesome spirit throughout was pretty incredible to see in person. Another big takeaway for me, we have our son here. As you can see, he's pretty much with me and or us 24 hours a day. It takes a village. We don't really have one. So he came with us to Summit, and we had a little babysitter malfunction. He came to one of the sessions with us, which I was a little nervous about. But it was really cool to see a lot of other families and to see people with, babies strapped on their back, and front forward ladies got a baby like 6 weeks old nursing in the stands, and even the elite coaches walking across the stage with babies strapped on their back. So again, going back to that like core and heart and integrity of the company in general, and the fact that it is a family company and you can make it as such, depending obviously on what stage in life you're in. This is something that fits no matter what stage in life you're in. You're a bachelor, a bachelorette, you're a 60-year-old, 70-year-old person, you're a family, a new family, old kids, young kids. So that was really special as well. One of the biggest things also that really touched me and kind of like made me cry walking across the street was seeing all those coaches, all 20,000 of them, or 25 or whatever it was, knowing that each one of those people went through something to get to their journey, and the fact that all of those people helped at least one other person, if not more. So kind of coming from a background of wanting to help people from a background of education and healthcare and such myself, that was really special. I was like, wow, this is something big. This is special. This is cool. People want to help people, and that's really, really cool to be a part of. So that was a really big takeaway as well.
Yeah. Boom.
So thank you.
Got it. Something cool about being surrounded by 20,000 positive people that enjoy helping others. Seriously. All right, we got Cammie. I always call her Cammie DeCiccio, but that's not how you say it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh. Can you see me?
Cammie with a C. I got Cammie with a C. DeCiccio.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I just wanted to say kind of similar things. I went all by myself, traveled all alone. I absolutely hate flying, so I had total anxiety leaving my family. I was a mess in the airport. Anyway, I finally got there and met my roommates, who I've only really seen on Facebook, and it was great. It was really great. But what I took away from it was the comfort zone thing. So for me, this was a whole comfort zone trip, and like I said, from the airport to getting there to meeting everybody. And realizing that we are so lucky to have this team, because I don't know if anybody saw my post in the Summit page, but I met a girl on the plane who is on a team, but they don't help each other. They don't have scripts. They don't have calls. They don't have any of that. And I was like, what do you mean? So we are really lucky. So thank you to everyone for that. And it was nice to meet everybody. Obviously, I didn't meet everybody, but maybe next time.
Awesome. Great. And now we got, did you want to go, Tammy?
Yeah, Tammy. Oh, what happened?
Thanks, Cammie. Or Leah Hall.
Okay, I can go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say I knew this opportunity was real, but to be able to actually go to Summit and to meet everybody who I've been, running challenge groups with and in challenge groups with was awesome. And I think it's going to make even our challenge groups more fun, because knowing so many more of the coaches that are in the group now, I just think it's going to take the whole level of interaction to another level for me anyway. So I think that'll make it make that more fun too for our challengers. So
yeah,
that's what I
cool.
wanted to add.
Awesome. Thanks, Leah. And then I got Laura. Laura, trying to talk on this call was like trying to get into the core.
Yeah, trying to go on the wait list here. All right, well, going back to what some other people said, I cried all weekend, and I guess I'm a crier, but I was trying to be all discreet about it all the time, wipe my tears away. But I cried during my very first workout with Shalene. I cried during her presentation. I was crying the whole closing ceremony. Just because thinking about this opportunity is just such it's such a big thing, and I want it to work so bad. And I know that obviously to make it work, I have to be consistent. So everything about this weekend was amazing, and all the trainings and everything was amazing. But one thing that the group that I really spent a lot of time with talked about is how we felt like we've been friends forever. And I think it's because we're so like-minded, and everyone was just so positive. So my roommates and the other room that we hung out with, we just got along so well. And the coolest thing was the little conversations that happened outside of the trainings. And I know we heard about those at the summit. You'll learn a ton at the trainings, but it's we went and had lunch in our room. Yeah, brainstorming those conversations that really I walked away with learning the most from. And an outcome of that is that we now have an accountability group together, and we're going to do a personal development book club and stuff. And I'm really excited about that, and the little group that we formed from all of that. And yeah, it was awesome. Everything was amazing. And I want to thank my coach Ariel for coming with me. It was awesome to have my own personally sponsored coach there for my first summit. So that's all.
Awesome. Hashtag Team Crybabies. All right, how about Brooke Reed?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I have a lot of same things that other people have said, but I think my biggest thing was that anybody can be successful in this business. I think sometimes people who are just getting started hear a lot of success stories about these people who are elite or premier and so, however many diamond, and it just kind of seems sometimes out of reach. And being at Summit just made me realize that I can do this, and this is attainable for me. And seeing everybody walk across the stage, I'm at Emerald right now, and I am determined to walk across that stage next year. And it just kind of instilled in me the possibility that it's real. I've always wanted to stay home with my kids when I have them one day, but I never really knew how I was going to be able to do that. And so this has given me that opportunity, but even more than that, it's made me excited to do that. So it's not just oh, I can do Beachbody so that I can stay home. It's I get to do Beachbody. I want to be at a point that I'm lucky enough to do Beachbody full time. And an added perk to that is to be able to stay home with my kids. You know what I mean? It used to be I want to stay home with my kids first and I'll do whatever it takes. But this is kind of I really, really, really want to do Beachbody, and a perk of that is to be able to stay home with my kids.
Right.
So that's it for me.
I hear you. It's true. It's kind of the same for me too. With traveling now, I really, really want to do this. And one of the perks is being able to travel and get to connect with really cool people all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally know what you mean. Next, I had someone, I think I saw Caroline Nathan said she had someone that was going to talk.
Yeah, Felicia, are you still on this call?
If you haven't talked it and it was your first time, go ahead and start. You can just jump right on.
I don't know if she's still on this call.
Okay, can I jump on? It was my first time. I wanted to
Yeah.
say something. Okay, so I knew it was going to be an epic summit when I woke up on Thursday morning, and already I didn't have a voice. Still mostly gone. So if you could bear with me, I'm going to try and make it quick because I wrote down a lot of stuff to say. I almost didn't go to Summit. Like, despite the fact that I had paid for my ticket and like paid for my hotel and everything like that, just everything that possibly could go wrong this year has gone wrong. Like, I know I'm not friends with everybody, so I know not everybody knows that in March, one of my best friends died. And then literally 2 weeks before Summit, I lost my dad. And my summer class and some of the checks that were supposed to pay for all of this my summer class got canceled and those checks just didn't come. And so I basically was like, I'm just going to go. I'm going to use this money and I'm just going to hope that this reinvigorates my business and kind of brings me back, because I've heard how important it is to go to these live events. And so first, it was so great, like meeting everybody and really feeling like part of a team. So it's one thing to see everybody online and say, hey, hi, how are you doing there? But then like to actually be around the people that you've been talking to, like the energy is magnetic. And so immediately from that Finish Line Leader event that I went to, I got my first really great nugget. And that was, if you're going out there acting like a hunter, people are going to feel hunted. But if you are a farmer and you cultivate, then that way you'll help educate and nourish the people that you're trying to develop relationships with. And that was one good thing. Another thing that I took away was when Lindsay Matway was talking about personal development. Like, personal development of the 3 vital behaviors, that's my thing. Like, I have that hands down. But I think I focused more on the business aspect and not as much on like myself and what I need personally to grow. So one of the things that I want to change is making sure that I do that. And the last thing that really stuck with me was when DeWitt Jones was speaking. And first of all, as the daughter of a photographer, I loved his photographs. Like, they really, really spoke to me. And I loved how he said that it's not about finding the right answer or even the next right answer, but about finding the next right answer continually throughout life. And but the one that really stuck with me was that he said, great possibility is always fraught with turbulence. I'm not somebody who likes turbulence. I like smooth sailing. I don't like struggle. I don't like failure. I don't like not knowing how my life is going to progress. You know, I've used a planner since I was 7 years old. Like, I need to know that this is going to happen like this. But just being in that environment, like, I know now that I have to stop looking at this as a plan B and really start pushing toward making it my plan A. And I think that for me was probably the biggest takeaway of all.
Loved it. There it is again. Plan A. Cool. Any other first timers that want to talk?
I do.
Hi, I did.
All right, cool. We'll try to do it like 30 seconds. We can fit everybody in.
So my takeaway was that I found it was very informative. I loved being around a bunch of positive people, like some of the stuff that everyone else has said before. And I loved seeing all the successful coaches being honored. Like, it was just something that I could, well, obviously I can't relate to it yet, but it was something that I'd like to aspire to. So when I left there, I felt very inspired, and I'm ready to commit more and be more consistent. And that's it.
Consistency. I love it.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll go.
All right, great.
Okay, so when I was all in from the start. I knew I wanted to pursue this and do it big, and I'm kind of like if I go in on something, then I make sure that I stick to it. But I was having a little bit of doubt before I came. What I was forgetting was that there's not just physical transformations in this business or on this team. I was forgetting myself that I went through a pretty great mental transformation. Where I come from, I felt like my high school and my town they're very negative people and they don't like take value in life and really go for whatever their dreams are. They kind of let their dreams fall by the wayside and kind of are bitter about it. At least that's how I feel about it. And being around everybody who's so positive and who goes after their dreams and are ambitious and are, you know, love being healthy and work towards that every single day. I always say that like healthy people are happy people, and being around so many people that are positive and want to just help everybody, that was what really stuck to me. And just, you know, just making sure that you go for your dreams big and like not holding back, you know, listening to Lindsay Matways and then Christine Dwyer's stories. Those two really hit home with me. So thanks to everybody that I hung out with this weekend, and actually all of Team Boom. And you know, like Laura said, it was awesome with the side conversations and getting to make friends. Like, I just feel like I like everybody who I met here more than I like some of my friends at home. So thanks.
Nice. Cool. Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes.
Go for it.
Can I go?
We're trying to squeeze a few more in. We'll go 30 seconds.
Biggest takeaway for me was the whole definition of leadership, the whole the speed of the leaders, the speed of the pack. I don't know. I came into this business wanting to do it. I'm grateful for Annie for reaching out to me. And I've always had that mindset of going for it. So I never, ever wanted to put this on the back burner. But since going to Summit and meeting everybody, I'm definitely like headstrong, going to do this no matter what. Right as soon as I entered Summit on Thursday, it basically became my full-time job. And meeting everybody who knew who I was, even when it was, oh, you're Hawaii, was great. To know that just people watch you and that people pay attention and that our team pays attention to each other. So I love the support. I love the fact that I kept hearing the word culture a lot too. So for me, biggest thing was building the culture, creating the life you want. Doesn't matter what happened in your past. You can create now, moving forward, what you want. Be the example, be a leader, and your team will go. And since then, I actually have a personally sponsored coach on this call with me for the first time. And he signed up with me actually while I was on my way trying to get home to Hawaii from Nashville. But since then, I've had 2 people join my team. And I love that I can do this business anywhere, even when I'm stuck in an airport. So thank you, Team Boom. Thank you, Beachbody.
Boom. Love it. Who's next?
I'll go with Jillian.
Awesome.
Hey, sorry, I just jumped on the call, so I missed everything. I'll have to watch the recording. But my biggest takeaway was that, and Pat kind of like said this to me right when I started coaching about Summit, because it was April. And he's like, you have to get to Summit. It's really important for you to get to Summit. And I did, like I bought my ticket and I found roommates and stuff, and I was really excited about it. But I didn't fully understand how important it is to be at live events until after the experience. Like, I got in my car and I cried. Not because I was sad. I was a little sad to leave everybody, but just because I felt so changed by everything that I learned, by seeing people's success, by meeting everyone and being in this positive environment where everybody wants to succeed. So I was really, really grateful that I went and I made it, and I will never miss a live event. Like, I immediately came back and started reaching out to people about retreat and what are we going to do, and now I'm like, I'm counting days until retreat, because it's like, it's just so good for your spirit.
Change. Sometimes that happens when you get around some really cool people. That's like one of the things
I also took away that Team Boom knows how to party.
Team Boom knows how to have a good time, yeah. Work hard, have fun. Yeah, we got a lot of cool, down-to-earth people that like to work hard, and but they don't take themselves too serious, which is good.
Remember that time that I said I wasn't going to drink at Summit, and then I was double fisting mojitos? Yeah, that happened.
Any other first-timers that haven't had a chance? We'll give you 30 seconds to give us your biggest takeaway.
I'll go, I guess.
Okay. We're not twisting your arm here.
Jenny is on my phone. My biggest takeaway, other than getting sick, would have to be that I don't really know that you can narrow it down to one thing, but I just have the belief that I can do it now. There's no doubt whatsoever. Like, I can do it. I can be on that stage. I can be a Beachbody Challenge winner. I can be a top coach. I can be an elite coach, a Success Club all-star, all of it. I can do it, and you can do it. We all can do it. And the key, it's not like I found, obviously, like, I haven't been consistent, and it's always, you're always told, like, you know, the key to being success is being consistent. But what I took away is that if you're not consistent, you're not going to be successful, period. You'll make some money and you'll help a few people, but you'll never get where you want to be if you are not consistent. And you have to believe that you can do that and that you deserve to have that success by being consistent.
Consistency.
Yeah, consistency and believing that you can do it and that you deserve to have that success.
If you have that belief and you have a strong enough why, then you'll be consistent to do the things. And it sounds like you have that belief is stronger than ever now. So
absolutely, yeah,
just will happen. It should, you know, if you have those two things, the why and the belief, consistency is something that you'll just be consistent. So awesome. Thanks. Who else we got that hasn't had a chance? The first timers.
Hey, it's Melissa.
Awesome. Go for it.
Actually, it says that I'm John. That's my husband. But anyways, my biggest takeaway was actually taking my husband with me because he never really understood what I was doing. If I was on the phone or at the computer, he wouldn't understand why, and he would sometimes complain on the phone all the time. And I kind of explained it, but yet he never really understood until I took him to Summit. And he's like, well, now I understand what you're doing, and this is a big eye-opener. And now he's been very encouraging, and I have all of his support, so that's going to be very helpful from here on out. And another biggest thing is just connecting with all the coaches. But one statement that stuck out was the life and lifestyle you want is not out of your reach unless you believe it, work for it every day, and you'll achieve it. No better time to start than now.
Awesome. Love it. All right. Anyone else? We're going over time here. We'll sneak a few more people in. Any other newbies? Nada? Anybody that's been to Summit more than once that wants to share?
I'll go.
Go for it.
One thing I really wanted to emphasize is, this is my third Summit, and I've been to the retreats and that type of stuff, and I've taken thousands of pages of notes, and then I go home and they sit on my desk and nothing happens. This is the first time I've gone to something and using the stuff I learned from John Maxwell, the ACT stuff. I've got this whole list of action items, this whole list of change things, and things I've already started to teach my team, and it's just completely different this time around.
That's a great point. You have this like amazing buzz, this excitement, but I hate to break it to you guys, it's gonna end. The excitement, the buzz goes away. And it's the coaches that are able to continue to be consistent with those daily things that they're doing while they're excited. Those coaches that are able to continue to do those things when they're not excited anymore and the buzz is gone, those are the ones that are going to be successful. That's what's going to make or break it. And I've been down that road many times after an event where I was excited and I was all in and I was gung-ho and I was consistent, but the excitement wore off and I stopped being consistent and my business didn't grow the way I wanted it to. So I'm just letting you know that excitement's going to wear off at some point, and you got to look yourself in the mirror and look at your why, look at your goals, and decide if it's worth doing those things on the days you don't feel like it and making time on the days you don't have time, because those are the coaches that are going to have success. Great point. Anybody else?
Pat, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yep.
I've been a coach for a long time. This is the second summit that I've gone to, and I had a chance to, at the party on Friday night, I had a chance to talk to a lot of people and talk to your dad. And, one of these things, I got into why I got into Beachbody and why I got into coaching has changed over the years. When I originally got in, it was originally about working out, losing weight, being consistent with that. And it's totally changed my life. Why I have stayed in it it's really been, I enjoy the workouts. I enjoy everything, but I kind of watch you talk about this company is disguised. It's a personal development company, and I'm very much into that. And I watch you, I watch your dad, I watch your sisters, and I see that, and probably more than what I want for myself, I see a lot of the girls and stuff, and I see my daughter, who I think could be a very good coach, and I want to see her do it. And the only way to do it is by becoming a great coach myself. And I listen to your sisters, and I listen to you. The speed of the leader determines the speed of the pack. And that's very important. And I learned a lot of it, and I need to be more consistent. And, I have a really good coach who's been patient with me, Joe Policino, and we had a nice talk today real quick. And, I just want to say how much I appreciate everything that you guys do for me. And I did learn a lot, and I had a great time.
Awesome. It's true. It's true. You gotta like think about the coaches you want on your team. Like if you don't have anyone on your team, like think about the coaches you would want. Like how consistent would they be? How hard would they work? How many invites would they be doing every day? How much personal development would they be doing? And would they be working out every day? And then whatever way you answer those questions, you got to be that coach. And then that's who you're going to attract. It's just kind of how it works. Cool. Thanks, Dennis.
Pat, I got real quick.
Okay.
Everybody, I know you guys have heard this, but this is should be called a relationship business, not network marketing. Should be called relationship marketing. And one of the biggest takeaways I got from this is there's so many people that are home trying to do this business by themselves. And once they go to Summit or they go to any of these events, they get together. I had 3 coaches that got together, Judy, Jackie, and Tammy, and it made it real. They got in a hotel together. They kind of were on their own. I got one girl, and they're all by themselves. They're up in Canada. They're in Indiana. And you have to get to these events, because then when you get to these events, you realize that this is a relationship business. You get to know each other. And like, Melissa came to this with her husband. So end of the story is get to the events, make it there so you can really get to know these people, and then you'll find out how real it is. End of story. That's what this business is all about.
Yep. It's true. You realize, it's not anything amazing. Like I don't, you look at any of the leaders on the team, like we struggle with consistency. We struggle with self-doubt.
The people that I met at this event that I didn't even know that came up and talked to me, I was like, Tripp came up to and said to me, I didn't know. I'd really talked to Tripp once on a Zoom call, and he was like, he was like amazed that he could meet me. It was just blew me away. So, the relationship part of this business it's what it's all about, really.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I was at a lot of those events, I was at some of those meetings, and I was getting tears in my eyes, because if you don't have feelings and you don't want to help people, then this business isn't for you. And I really appreciate everybody that came up to me and said how much they appreciated everything we did. And, I just can't tell you how much that made me feel. So
I think we're going to end the call right there. That was great. And let's do next week, we can have some of the veteran coaches that have been to Summit before share some of their takeaways from Summit. I think that'll be great to kind of continue this forward next week. But I thank all the first timers for sharing. That was amazing. And we'll get some of the veterans to be able to share their stuff next week. Sound good? We'll get a boom on 3 and we'll wrap this thing up. Oh, Melissa's getting ready. She's got the crew going. All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Boom!